Welcome back to Global Lens. Ahead of COP30, we take a look at India's standing among other nations in clean industrial projects. According to a report by the Industrial Transition Accelerator in collaboration with Boston Consulting Group, India is growing its pipeline of commercial-scale clean industrial projects, with around 65 such projects under development, putting India in third spot after China and the US. This represents a tremendous opportunity for sustainable industrial development over the coming decades. However, the report highlights that much of this activity is concentrated in the green chemical sector. It is largely clustered in states such as Odisha, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Maharashtra, which offer proactive industrial policies. The report estimates that capital requirements exceed $150 billion to bring the current pipeline to full-scale operations. Preliminary assessments indicate the potential to create over 2 lakh direct and indirect jobs across the value chain and about 5 to 6% of annual national greenhouse gas emissions once operational. We speak with James Schofield, Managing Director of the Industrial Transition Accelerator, to understand how India can accelerate investments in decarbonisation across key transport and infrastructure sectors. Firstly, James, thank you so much for being with us. Would you be able to explain how the ITA arrived at the $150 billion capital requirement figure?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. And I'm glad you ask it in terms of investment need, because indeed, this is an opportunity. In the report that we're releasing today, the ITA has identified about 65 commercial scale deep decarbonisation projects in India that are on the drawing board and that need investment. And the total cumulative investment need is above $150 billion US. And of course, with that comes all the associated benefits in terms of employment. We think around 200,000 jobs could be employed, and many other benefits in terms of making the Indian economy stronger, more competitive domestically and internationally, and more resilient as well, because you will be using more internal domestic resources like solar energy and reducing the need for the import of more volatile commodities like natural gas from abroad.
Right. What is the challenge, according to you, with regard to the current pace of decarbonisation, and what will happen if we don't increase the pace and scale of investments?
So look, the challenge is one that's not just faced by India, by the way. This is a challenge around the world, and I think India is extremely well placed to face that challenge. As economic growth grows, we need to build more stuff, infrastructure, commodities, manufacturing items. We need to do that with increasingly decarbonised commodities like steel, aluminium, cement, and key chemicals. Now, I think India is very well placed to do so. It has some key advantages as it grows its economy and as it seeks to grow its international trade role and competitive position. It's got some of the lowest hydrogen production costs in the world. The levelized cost of electricity, a technical term, but the average cost of producing renewable electricity is cheaper in India than the global average. So it starts from a strong base. It's got a lot of resources, solar as well. It's got port infrastructure. And interestingly, it's got the potential to export into key demand markets like Europe, for example. And there is actually at the moment an EU-India trade negotiation ongoing for a trade framework agreement. And we think that could be a massive unlock for that green industrialization within India.
My final question to you would be that when it comes to India, there are already major infrastructure and transport sectors that you work with. In the context of India, if India does not work towards an increased pace of decarbonisation across key sectors, how does the economy, Indian exports, stand to lose in the next 5 to 6 years? Any assessment on that?
Yeah, you'll see that in our report. It's a very good question. Clearly, companies and the government see this as a strategic growth opportunity. But indeed, if they don't move, if these projects do not get to final investment decision, there are costs to industry. There's international regulation. I'm sure you're aware of the EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism that will penalize high intensity, high emission commodities compared to lower emission commodities. There's also mandates around aviation fuel that are coming into effect both in the EU and around the world. And those countries and airlines that are not using lower carbon sustainable aviation fuels will also have to pay penalties. So there is a cost to not moving, but actually the cost or the opportunity to moving is even greater. Securing a foothold, staking a claim to the share of demand, to the share of the market for these cleaner industrial goods is an opportunity that India is really well placed to take advantage of.
James, thank you so much for being with us here on Global Lens.
My pleasure. Thank you.
With that, we come to the end of this special edition of Global Lens. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.